Okay, boys and girls, we are done with Unit 0. So again, this is Algebra 2, Unit 0. This is the review. The review is just a collection of examples from the previous 5 assignments. So if you need in-depth explanation about some of these things, you may want to go back into some of those individual videos or individual assignments and notes if you really want to take a look at it. However, this review is actually quite long. I think it's like, 30 questions. So for respect to time, I'm going to kind of be hitting the gas, if you will, just to kind of get this thing done in somewhat of a timely fashion. However, I still will be walking and talking and thinking and things like that. So if you need help or whatever, again, please make sure you ask questions during class. I'd be happy to help you out. But for this video itself, I'm going to be kind of moving a little bit quicker than the others. So here we go. All right, so this very first question, what I straight up noticed that the inside is f of 10. So that's how I begin. I go to the f function and I put a 10 in for any of the x's that I see. And that comes out to be straight up the number 6. So ultimately, this question is, what is g of f of 10? Well, as I just said, f of 10 is the number 6. So this question is, what is g of 6? So I go to the g, and that's 6 minus x. In this case, the x is the number 6. So 6 minus 6 is 0. Hooray. Okay, here we go. The inner piece that I kind of see here is I have this f of x squared, okay? And then there's a 3 times this. So f of x is the square root of 4x plus 1. So I replace the f of x with whatever the f of x is. So square of the square root goes away. And so this is still 4x plus 1, just without the square root. Okay, now there's an outside 3. So with that outside 3, I distribute in, and this comes out to be 12x plus 3. All righty, here the innermost piece is this g of negative 3. So g, oops, let me put this properly here. G of negative 3. So that's 6 minus x. X being negative 3. Minus of a negative is adding a positive. So 6 plus 3 is 9. So that's what g of negative 3 is. However, this question is straight up asking, what is f of g of negative 3? So again, f of, excuse me, as you were, g of negative 3 is 9. G of negative 3 is 9. So this question is asking, well, what is f of 9? That's x minus 4. So that's 9 minus 4, which is 5. Okay, here, the big outside is g. Okay, so g, and then what I put on the inside of g is f. So g is 5 minus x. All right, so inside that g, I have to put f. So that's 3x plus 5. All right, so here I have a minus of a parentheses, so that goes in. So that will be a minus 3x and a minus 5 of a 5 that is already on the outside. And so 5 minus 5 is 0. So this just leaves us to be negative 3x. All right, something tells me I'm going to probably have to use my calculator in this one. Not a big deal. All right, so the innermost piece is this g of negative 6. So that is negative 6 squared. Again, make sure you use parentheses, and that will come out to be a positive 36. So ultimately, this question is, what is f of g of negative 6? G of negative 6 is the number 36. So the question is, what is f of 36? And so that is going to be the square root of x plus 4, and that x being 36. So this is going to be the square root of 40. Round to 2 decimal places, that implies that this is going to be 6.32. Okay, find the inverse of the function. That means x's become y's, y's become x's. So this is going to be x is equal to 1/3 y squared plus 6. All right, so again, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Okay, I'm looking at the y. So is there anything subtracting the y? No. Is there anything adding the y? Yes, there's this plus 6. So that means minus 6. Okay, is there anything dividing y? Yes, that dividing is a bottom number. That's a divide of 3. So I need to multiply by 3 to get rid of that division. And so that's going to get us 3x minus 18. Okay, and a 1, but 1 doesn't really do anything. So multiply, don't worry about it. Exponent, yes, there is an exponent. So that means I need to square root with a plus minus. Okay, I need to square root with a plus minus, and that should be our result. So this implies that my answer, my inverse of that original y, is going to be, shrink this down just a little bit. This inverse is going to be equal to plus or minus the square root of 3x minus 18. Okay, so the g is an inverse of f. So f has y coordinates. Okay, this is f. F has y coordinates of 5, 2, 7, 4, and 3. And so what I know right now is f has coordinates of -3, 5, 0, 2, 1, 7, 4, 4, and 7, -3. All right, so the inverses of those, aka the g, are going to be the inverses of these. So x's become y's, y's become x's. So this one will be 5, -3, where the x became the y and the y became the x. 2, 0, 7, 1, 4, 4, and -3, 7. And those are the points that are on G, which again is the inverse of F. All right, fractions. Top numbers multiply, bottom numbers divide. We'll see if we need to know that. Top numbers multiply, bottom numbers divide. All right, so the first thing that I need to do is find the f of 7/3. So f is 3x plus 5. So 3 times 7 is 21. 21 divided by 3 is 7, or I can see that there's a multiplication division. So this is ultimately 7. So divided by 3 is 7. So this is 7 plus 5, which is 12. That is not the final answer. Okay, but that gets us down the road. All right, so the ultimate question is actually asking what is g of f of 7/3. So f of 7/3 just came out to be the number 12. So this question is asking, well, what is g of 12? So g is 5 minus x. So that's 5 minus 12, which would come out to be -7. Okay, so here we have the f, and on the inside of f, we are going to place g. So f is the square root of x plus 4. So on the inside of that f, I need to put a g, which is x squared. Okay, this does not square root, so that is the answer. Okay, the inside is f of -1, so f is x squared, and so that is going to come out to be a positive 1. And so this ultimate question is asking, what is g of f of -1? So f of -1 came out to be a positive 1, so this question is, what is g of 1? So g of 1 is 2x minus 1. 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1 is 1. Okay, here we have g minus f. Again, I encourage you to put those in their own unique parentheses. So g minus f. Okay, because this does have a minus, this does make it a little bit more tricky. And so this is going to be a negative x and a plus 4 over that. Okay, so that is that. So here we go. Element x squareds. X squareds, there's a 2x squared. X's, I have a 5 and a -1. Numbers, I have a 1 and a 4. Okay, this next problem is the same thing as saying f minus g. So again, put those in their own unique parentheses, f minus g. So f is x squared minus 2x plus 1. G is 6x squared plus 5. Again, because this is a minus, this makes it a little bit more tricky. So this will be a negative 6x squared and a negative 5. Okay, so the x squareds, I have a 1 and a -6. X's, I have a -2. And normal numbers, I have a 1 and a -5. Write the inverse. That means x's become y's, y's become x's. So this is x is equal to y squared plus 3. Again, we are going to follow, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, backwards. So is there anything subtracting my y? No, there's nothing subtracting. Is there anything adding to my y? Yes, there's a plus 3. So that means I minus 3. Plus 3 goes away. Is there anything dividing my y? No. Is there anything multiplying my y? No. Is there any exponents on my y? Yes. To get rid of that square, I need to square root. Don't forget the plus minus on that. And there you go. So that implies that my inverse is equal to the plus minus the square root of x minus 3. Okay, the innermost piece is this f of 3. So f is x squared, so that is 3 squared. 3 times 3 is 9. So this ultimate question is asking, what is h of f of 3? So as I just got done showing, f of 3 is straight up the number 9. So this question is, well, what is h of 9? H being x minus 4, so this is 9 minus 4, x minus 4. 9 minus 4 is 5. Okay, this is pretty much probably just going to be setting up the problem, and that's about it. So this is g of x divided by h of x. g of x is x squared minus 25, h of x is 6 minus x. And I'm pretty sure that's just going to be it right there. I don't think you have to actually do anything. Again, so they are asking us for this inverse. So that means y's become x's become y's. So this is x is equal to negative 3y minus 2. Okay, is there anything subtracting my y? Yes, there's a minus 2. So that means I need to add 2. So this is going to be x plus 2. Is there anything adding to my y? No. Is there anything dividing my y? No. Is there anything multiplying my y? Yes, there's a negative 3. So I need to divide by negative 3. And so y is going to be equal to x plus 2 divided by negative 3. So let's be cautious about this answer because it might look a few different ways. So this inverse is x plus 2 divided by negative 3. So what this would look like is a x over negative 3 plus 2 over negative 3. It could look like that. But what I probably feel that the actual answer would be is most likely negative 1/3 x and negative 2/3. That's how I really feel that the answer will look like. It could be any one of these three, but all the same. Okay, this is f times g of 2. Okay, so this is going to be f of 2 times g of 2. Okay, so let's figure out the pieces. So f of 2. F of 2 is 6x minus 7. Okay, g of 2 is 5x. Let's try to make this just a little bit better. Okay. So f of 2 times g of 2, f of 2 times g of 2 is going to be 50. I think I did it a little bit different on the answer sheet. This is probably a little bit easier. Okay, draw an inverse. Okay, so what we do is we take note of current points and things about these pictures, and we just take the inverses of them. All right, so I see that I have a asymptote at x is equal to negative 2. And then what I do is I kind of tentatively just pick dots off of this and take the inverses of them. All right, so I have dots at negative 2, negative 6, negative 2, negative 3, negative 1, 0, 0, that looks about like half. I have a 1, 1, and I have a 6 and almost a 2. I'll call it 1 3/4 or something like that. Almost 2. All right, so again, you probably don't need this many points. But again, it doesn't really matter. So y is equal to negative 2. This is negative 6, negative 2. Just again, x's become y's, y's become x's. 0, negative 1, 1/2, 0, 1, 1, and 1 and almost 2, and 6. All right, so let's go ahead and mark this up. So that means that there's a y is negative 2. Okay, y is negative 2. negative 6, negative 2, so negative 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, negative 2, something around there, negative 3, negative 2, so somewhere around there, 0, negative 1-ish, 1/2, 0-ish, 1, 1, there, 1 and 3, almost 2 and 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, let's count there, something like that. And so I started at this, so I went in this direction. So something like that. In inverse, again, a line, all you need is 2 points technically, but you know, I'll go overkill here. I'll take all the points I can get. So I start at negative 6, positive 2, then I go to negative 3, 0, and I go to 0, negative 2, and I go to 3, negative 4, and then I go to 6, negative 6. Okay, here we go. 2, negative 6, 0, negative 3, negative 2, 0, negative 4, 3, negative 6, negative 6, 6. All right, here we go, given blah, 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 find f of g. So here we go, f, and notice how g is on the inside of f. So f is x squared. On the inside of that f, I put g, which is 2x minus 1. Yeah. So the g is on the inside of f. All right, so this is saying 2x minus 1 squared, which means multiply by itself. So 2x times 2x, 2x times 1. So I start with this first element, multiply through. So that's going to be 4x squared minus 2x. Move on to the next element, repeat that process. So that's times 2x times negative 1. So negative 1 times 2x, negative 2x. Negative 1 times negative 1, positive 1. Add the like terms, those are the x's, and so they would add to be negative 4. And there you go. Here we go. On the insider is the f of 7. So f, which is 2x minus 5 square rooted. 2 times 7, 14. Minus 5 is 9. Square root of 9 is 3. And then ultimately, this question is, what is g of f of 7? So as I just got done saying, f of 7 is literally the number 3. So this is asking, what is g of 3? G of 3, which is x squared minus 1, the x being 3. 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 1 is 8. Here we have g, and on the inside of g, we are going to be putting an x. So g is x squared. And on the inside, we put f, which is the square root of x plus 4. Square root eliminates the, square eliminates the square root, so that just leaves us with an x plus 4. Write the inverse of the function. Okay, so f of x is the same thing as the letter y. So if I'm going to be taking an inverse of this, y's become x's, x's become y. So this is xy plus 6. So please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I'm solving for y. So is there anything subtracting my y? No. Is there anything adding to my y? Yes, plus 6. So that means minus 6. By minus 6, that gets rid of that 6. And that leaves y, so there's nothing dividing, nothing multiplying, no exponents. That's what it is. So this is going to be the inverse, which was originally an f of x. The inverse is equal to x minus 6. Find the inverse. Okay. So this is originally y is equal to 3x minus 5. So the inverse is going to be x is equal to 3y minus 5. Here we go. We've got to solve for that y. So, okay, is there anything subtracting my y? Yes, there's a minus 5. So that means I have to add 5. Adding 5 gets rid of the minus 5, leaving me with 3y. So we're getting closer. Okay, back to the y. Is there anything adding to my y? No. Anything dividing my y? No. Is there anything multiplying my y? Yes. There's a 3, so I need to divide by that 3, and that will get me what I need. So y is equal to x plus 5 divided by 3. Okay. What are all the potential answers? So this is the inverse of an f of x. So here we go, and basically it's x plus 5 divided by 3. However, what are all the other ways that this could potentially look? So this is the same thing as x over 3 plus 5 over 3. It might look like that. This is the same thing as 1/3 x plus 5 over 3. I'm thinking it's going to look like that bottom one right there, but again, I think you just have to pick it from a multiple choice. So any one of those three. Okay, getting closer and closer. Division, we probably don't have to do anything. We just have to set it up. So this is going to be f of x over g of x, f divided by g. So f divided by g. Holla, and that's about it. Okay, on the inside is g of 4. So the g is x squared minus 1. The x is the number 4. 4 squared is 16. Minus 1 is 15. All right. However, the ultimate question is actually asking what is f of g of 4? And so the g of 4 is literally the number 15. So this question is asking what is f of 15, which is 2x minus 5 square root. So 2x minus 5 square root. 2 times 15 is 30. Minus 5 is 25. Square rooted is 5. Okay. The innermost piece here is g of negative 5, so that's 2x minus 1. So 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Minus 1 is negative 11. So this ultimate question is asking what is h of g of negative 5? G of negative 5 we just got done saying is the number negative 11. So this question is what is h of negative 11? And that is going to be x minus 4. So this is negative 11 minus 4. So that's negative 15. Okay, the innermost piece is g of 0. So that is going to be 2x minus 1. So 2 times 0 is 0. Minus 1 is negative 1. This ultimate question is asking, what is h of g of 0? G of 0, I just got done saying, is -1. So this is asking, what is h of -1, which is x minus 4. So this is -1 minus 4, which is -5. Make an inverse. All right, so we have an asymptote that is y is equal to 0. Let's pick out some points. Just something like that. So we have points at -6, 0, -3, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, and looks like 2.5, 6. Inverses would be x is equal to 0, 0, -6, 0, -3, 1, 0, 2, 1, and 6, 2.5. Plotting these things out, x of 0 is a vertical line. I have points at 0, -6, 0, -3, 1, 0, 2, 1, and 6, 2.5. Easy peasy. This one I don't think we really talked about a whole lot. It's really not that bad though. Oh, excuse me. This is f of x times g of x. So it's multiplication. So f of x is x minus 4. G of x is 2x squared plus 5x plus 1. So we start with this first element and we multiply everything of that next thing. So that's x times 2x squared. That's x times 5x. That's x times 1. All right. Scooch this down a little bit. Okay, now that we're done with the x, we move on to the next, and we repeat that process. Okay, I'm going to write this down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of line up elements. Right, so I'll erase this just in a second. Here are going to be all my x to the thirds, here's going to be all my x squareds, here's going to be all my x's, and here's going to be all of my normal numbers. So here we go. So I'm on the -4. -4 times 2x squared is -8x squared. So I line that up in the x squared column. The x's, I have the next multiplication is -4 times 5x. That's going to be -20x. Line that up. And then I have -4 and a +1. That multiplies to be -4. All right, so what I do is I line up the terms. And so what I can do is I can just add these things vertically. These all have to get added together. So that says 2x to the third minus 3x squared minus 19x minus 4.